Here is an example of a problem where we find the concentration of a solution, the mass by volume concentration of a solution, where our solute is glucose, 15.0 grams of glucose dissolved in a total volume of 0.300 liters. Now here is our equation for mass by percent volume equals grams of solute divided by the volume of the solution in milliliters. Please keep that in mind, times 100%. So the first thing we need to do is convert liters to milliliters using the conversion factor between liters and milliliters, getting rid of the liters and getting milliliters here. And then all we need to do is plug in all the values, the 3.00 times 10 to the 2 milliliters with 3 sig figs, and the 15 grams of glucose, 15.0 grams of glucose with also 3 sig figs, multiply by 100%, this being the exact number, and the final outcome is 5.00% mass by volume glucose. Now if you were to walk in a laboratory and see a 5% or 5.00% glucose solution, the lab tech should specify whether it's mass by mass or mass by volume, because the final outcome of each calculation could be different. If instead we had taken the actual mass of the water instead of the total volume of the solution, and then to that we added 15 grams of glucose, our denominator term here could be something else, and so the final concentration would not exactly equal to 5.00%. So we should always specify whenever we create this kind of solutions whether they are percent by mass or percent by mass volume. Now in the case of percent by mass volume, this is yet another example of percent by mass volume. Here we have 20.0 grams of sodium chloride and the total volume is 2.00 times 10 to the 2 milliliter. And now that we know how this is done, divide the two and multiply by 100 and give the answer to the right number of sig figs. Here is an example of a situation where we know the percent mass by volume, which is 15.0% solution, and we also know the total volume, 7.50 times 10 to the 2 milliliters. How can we find what was the original number of grams of glucose that was added to create this 15.0% solution? So again, we can write the equation, and in this case we know this value, which is 15.0% mass volume. We do not know the grams of solute, that's our x. We know the volume of the solution, 7.50 times 10 to the 2 milliliters, that's 750 milliliters with 3 sig figs, and we multiply it by 100%. The rearrangement of this equation would mean we multiply both sides by 7.50 times 10 to the 2, and then whatever amount we have by multiplication of that, this 2 and division by 100, the 100% part, gives us the glucose amount as 113 gram. So this is how we solve problems of the kind where we have to find concentration, where concentration is reported in terms of mass or mass volume.